Hello to all chess lovers who are watching these YouTube videos that I put out of 50 years of chess. My name is Robert Radford, and I've got another game which I think you will find interesting. It's a game against someone I've known for many years. I've played him lots of times, and his name is A.Borkowski, or affectionately known as Borky to many of his opponents. So this game was played, I've got it on my sheet here. This game was played on the 28th of February 2016, and it's the final round of the tournament. Neither of us were in with a chance of winning, but nevertheless it's always a special game when we play. For me it is anyway, because I always like to play Andrew. I think I've drawn with him about, I've lost count of how many draws. But I did lose once to him in a club knockout match when we were playing Thornbury, who he plays for, and he was playing for Clevedon at the time. So this game he's playing for, I think, Thornbury, and we're going to see how it goes. So to start with, Andrew is white, and he played b4, the Polish or Sokolski opening. I played e5. Bishop b2, and I favoured the bishop takes pawn line on b4. Andrew took. I played knight f6, knight f3, knight c6, bishop back to b2, and d5. Now I consider this really good for black because Andrew's still got two of his minor pieces on the back rank. He had to move his bishop back when attacked, so that's cost him some time, and I'm happy with my position. So he played e3, castled, bishop e2, rook e8. So I've got a commanding centre here at the moment. I'm controlling both the e4 and e5 squares. e6, e7 are all mine at the moment. And Andrew castles as he's continuing to complete his development. Now it's showing a 0+2 for me with black pieces so far in this game due to my development, better development. I played a6. Andrew let me see. Oh yeah, he played d3. Bishop to g4, then he played knight to d2. So here I played queen e7 so as I could connect my rooks and bring the a rook across to d8, and I'm really pleased with this opening. It's quite a passive opening that white's played. I don't really rate it that much, but there are players who are not aggressive. They're passive in nature and passive in the way they play. That doesn't mean to say they're weak. It just means they like to play that way. Bishop c5, king h1. Here we go. Rook d8. Now Andrew surprised me with bishop takes knight on f6. It's got a very good bishop. It's attacking my king side. It's his most active piece, and he traded it off, and now my queen has got control of dark squares. He went knight to b3, bishop back to d6, looking at his h2 pawn. He played rook e1, queen h6. So the threat is bishop takes knight and then mate on h2. So he countered this with knight back to d2, so that even if I do take the knight now, he can retake and prevent mate. So I brought another piece into the fray by playing knight e5 here. So I could, if he takes twice with a knight, I can trade off with the bishop and knight, and again the threat is there. So Andrew brought his knight back to f1. It's the only real move to play there. At least he's covering that mating square on h2, and he can still take with the bishop and then with the queen after. So I withdrew my bishop right the way back to c8 to get out of the way, possibly bring it in again later. So he took my knight on e5, and I took with the bishop. Then he pushed his d pawn and forced me back to d6 again. Now, looking at this position, I've got a 0.5 plus, a minus against Andrew and a plus for myself. And I'm more than happy with this position. I haven't been troubled at all in this game so far. So he plays c4, an aggressive attack move. So I take, and he takes. So I offered him the bishop swap so as to bring my rook up the board and over to his king side as a form of a rook lift. But he didn't want to know it and went back to d3, which I think was quite wise under the circumstances. So now I played d5. I got a cunning little plan here. After d5, I don't retake, I go bishop e5. And then he's got this terrible pin on his queen with the rook against the bishop against the queen. And it would take him 2 moves to get another piece to defend that bishop. So pawn takes, bishop e5. So he decided after quite some time that he didn't want to go in for a long drawn out having to defend for the rest of the game. So he's decided he could give up the exchange and have a game. So I took it, and he retook on a1 with the other rook. Yeah, I played g6, that's it. Then he played knight g3. I went back to g7 with my queen, hitting the rook on a1, and he played rook b1. I followed this up with bishop d5, making sure that I've got that pawn on b7 covered. But then Andrew threw knight into e4, which is a pain because I don't want to give up the bishop, but I don't want him going knight to d6 either. That's a really strong place to have a bishop. It's like a monster bishop if I allowed it to go there. So I took it off and he retook, and this made it a bit difficult for me here. So I threw the pawn forward 2 squares, and he took pawn takes pawn. So then I played queen into e4, attacking his bishop, and he pushed the pawn on. So if I go queen takes queen, rook takes queen, he can then queen again. So it would be, let me see, it would be giving up a bishop and a queen on b8, leaving him with a queen and bishop, and I would have a queen and bishop. So there's not much point. So I went back to d6. He went to f3. Now he had, I played it nicely because by going back to d6, it left his bishop on pre. So he had to move that off, and it cost him another pawn on a3, which I was pleased about, though it did take my queen away from the b8 square. But at the moment, I've still got 2 rooks I can take there. So he played g3, and I brought my queen back to d6. Now he's offering a queen swap. If I took it, he's got an immediate attack on my rook, which I don't want. So I simply went queen e4 because I've got this wonderful move coming up, which Andrew didn't see. He just didn't see it. Maybe if he'd have looked longer, but he decided to take the pawn, and then I killed the game completely with queen f5. There's just no answer to this. The bishop's being attacked, the rook's being attacked. He can't defend both. he's going to lose one or the other, and the game is over. The pawn won't matter. Even if he tries to push the pawn, I've got check on f3. If he moves the bishop back, I've got queen takes rook, bishop c1, and then rook down to d1, and it should be fine. So Andrew had to think for quite some time trying to find an answer, and in the end he decided he couldn't find the answer, and he, like a gentleman he is, he resigned the game, and that was the game with Andrew Borkowski. So it was just this business of working out, if we go back a few moves, when he was offering a queen swap here. He thought, I would either have to take or go queen a3. But I didn't not want to, once he's got two pieces hanging here. Look at it. b1 and f3. That's very unusual for Andrew to do such a thing. He's normally much too streetwise to do something like that. But on this occasion he did. And when I played e4, that's simply to get myself to f5. And he couldn't resist taking a pawn, because he knew by taking a pawn, in effect, we would be level on material. But when he took that pawn and I went queen to f, I was already on, when I was on queen e5, I was on 4.1 better than him on Stockfish. Now it's 4.2, and no coming back from this. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I will show you more games when I find them out through my database of games that I have. I'll see you soon. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your chess. Bye.